Right now. There have been a lot of jokes and memes about the quarantine 15 gaining a pound or few while we're all under the stay-at-home orders.
That's right. The reality is, though, more than a third of Americans turn to food and snacks as a way to cope with all the stress and anxiety surrounding COVID-19 and everything happening around us. So to help us understand much more and what we're doing, we're bringing in Tricia Nelson, who is an emotional eating expert. Good morning, Tricia.
Good morning. Great to be here with you.
Thank you for joining us. So at first, I thought it was just my kids who were eating all day long because they were home and they were bored. And then I found myself doing the same thing, like eating the crust that I cut off from their sandwich or eating the chips. I wasn't even hungry. I just kept eating and eating. Why do we reach for food or alcohol when we're stressed or when we're just bored?
I think it's the easiest thing to reach for. It's so accessible, right? We've got stockpiled food at home right now, a lot more food than we would normally have, and eating is comforting. I mean, we've learned since we were children, you know, if you eat some carb food or something sugary, it feels comforting, it feels like love, and so it's the most natural thing to turn to. And I think everybody's really realizing that stress eating can happen to them, emotional eating, and so it's just an easy thing to do, but obviously it has negative consequences, especially the longer that we're sheltered at home.
And Tricia, I'm meteorologist Shauna Mendiola. I find myself cooking a lot of things that make me feel comfortable, you know, things that my grandma taught me how to make back in the day. It's been a while since I've done that, but how do I stop myself from eating things like cakes and cookies, a lot of pasta at my house right now, things that make you just give you comfort, which in the end probably aren't too good for you to eat in the long run?
Yeah, we rarely reach for lettuce and carrot sticks when we want to be comforted. So basically, the best thing you can do, I mean, obviously, if you've got kids at home, if you have a spouse who wants to eat those foods and they can do it and they don't put on the pounds, maybe think about having a separate area where you have your foods versus their foods, maybe a special cupboard where all the snacky foods are, so it's out of sight and a little bit out of mind, but also just really trying to get people on a healthier track of maybe eating a little bit more vegetables or making it a little more fun to cook foods together, maybe make a big salad together, things that kind of make it a little more enjoyable to prepare and get excited about.
Yeah, Tricia, we're all trying to strike that balance of trying to enjoy ourselves and some of the foods that we like to eat at home in a very difficult time. But what can we do to cut back on the stress eating to make sure that we're kind of eating from a place of joy and love and healthiness and not be doing harm to our bodies here?
I think because we are at home all the time right now, it's really important, and everybody's in the house, it's really important, first of all, to address the stress that causes stress eating. So getting some kind of morning routine like meditation or prayer or just reading something very like comforting or uplifting, that's a good way to start your day before you check email, before you jump on your phone. So get some kind of centering. That way you're sort of building a source from within that you can draw on throughout the day if you're feeling anxious or nervous or bored. Also, I recommend something called 3-meal magic, and this is an opportunity to, you know, have some set meal times, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. You know, it's just like the old days, you know, 3 meals a day, but this time nothing in between. So really try to cut down on the snacking and also close the kitchen down. You know, be there for the meals and then close the kitchen down. The next thing that's really important right now is connection and community, staying in contact with loved ones, picking up the phone, calling people you know they're going to be home, and just reaching out. And also people who might be isolated. When you're thinking of other people, it gets your mind off of food. So that's really, really important. And the last thing I would recommend for people is really just, you know, more than ever, we have to stay positive. And so really cutting down on the news, the negativity part of the news, and just really focusing on uplifting information, books, you know, TV programs, comedy, things that can really uplift your mood and help you stay away from worry and fear, because that obviously, anxious eating is a big part of stress eating.
All right, Tricia, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Yes.
Thank you, Tricia.
Yeah,
thank you, Tricia. I simply just have to stop making cookies with my kids. I try to do activities like that to keep them busy. You know, I just have to think of something healthier to do.
Yeah, there's
Thank you, Tricia.
Absolutely.